Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some news out of Sandusky, Ohio, where a new poster has appeared. And I realize it's not new news, that this broke sometime last week, but the news was a little bit incorrect, that some people had said that this poster was in Town Hall. It is indeed not in Town Hall. It is on the Gemini, the train booth nearest Gemini and Slingshot over there along the trade route, or the train route.
Yep.
So, Danny, let me read you this poster, some of the highlights on it.
Yep, I'll follow along here.
So at the top it says, laborers needed, wages paid daily, and it's from the Cedar Creek Mining Company, established 1870 with the Cedar Point logo there. It also says in the corner and along the edges of this, it says Carolina Gold Rusher, Calico Mining Company, Quicksilver Express, Leviathan Lumber Company, and Thunder Run, Adventure Express, and the MC Minebuster. Danny, if you see a commonality there, those are all of the mine rides across Cedar Fair, correct?
Yeah, all the mine rides with the exception of the Leviathan Lumber Company, which it's weird that they didn't go Miami River Lumber Company. I don't know what the significance of that is. And MC Minebuster, which is the wood coaster at Canada's Wonderland, which just has a name that's kind of mine-themed.
Yeah. And Thunder Run, too, is loosely mine-themed, too, right?
What's that?
Thunder Run is loosely mine-themed?
Yes, Thunder Run is loosely mine-themed as well, although there is a dragon in there. But it is, a train. It does have sort of a mine shaft-type entrance and exit into Wonder Mountain. So, I guess we'll count that.
So interesting that they mention all these other mine rides, but then really focus heavily on the Canada's Wonderland thing. And that'll bring us to our next point here. It says, proper passport required for passage across the border. Announcement. The Cedar Creek Mining Company has plans to develop and expand its operations with an all-new northern mining facility pending the approval of Beauregard Chamberlain, one of the characters in Frontier Town.
Right, and for those of you who might be confused, Beauregard Chamberlain is actually the Maverick character. That is the full name of the Maverick character, which we've learned is part of the Steel Vengeance storyline. Which
I actually read a whole lot of that story in the queue line.
Yes,
I had nothing else to do.
Right, because we did not get a chance to, we were busy riding the ride on Media Day. We did not necessarily read through all those posters one by one, but when you do read through all of them, it does indeed, you do learn that the full name of the Maverick character is Beauregard Chamberlain, and there is a brotherly relationship there between Blackjack and Maverick.
Yeah. So the requirements of this job must endure extreme heat and cold, darkness and light, tight spaces, dizzying heights, sudden drops, and wet conditions. Wet conditions. We propose to offer the best of the best when it comes to housing and lodging. Enjoy mountain views like no other.
I'm not even going anywhere. Okay.
This, Danny, I tell you what, having been to Cedar Point this weekend, they must have stock somewhere in the words no and other, because that's the only two words across the whole park. This like no other, that like no other. And
I'll tell you what.
Well, let's keep going. Before we get into while earning good pay. Now, if you notice at the bottom here, it says most unique in quotation marks. And then also you see there the clearly
like no other.
What?
Unique like no other.
Yeah, unique like no other. You see the Valraven symbol there that we mistakenly said that was Lake Erie Monster.
That's it. This is going to be the Wonder Mountain Lake Monster or whatever.
And then we have some numbers here. We have 3215 feet. We have 137 MCBR. We have 3501 and then number 17. So, Danny, to me, it sounds like Cedar Point is clearly referencing the dive coaster going up to Canada's Wonderland. I don't think that's the question here.
It would appear so. I think everything we say from here on out is under that assumption at this point.
So where do you want to start here? Let's start with some of the words, maybe. It sounds like it might have a splashdown or some water. some wet conditions. Maybe that's just
possibly. We know it darkness and light. We know it's going to have at least one tunnel for sure. You know, tight spaces. That could also be the tunnel there. Dizzying heights, sudden drops. You know, that could be the
drop.
You know, the drop with the holding brake. I think it would be cool if they were going to do a mining type theme. You know, do they do something along the lines of like a Baron 1898 where they actually theme the hill to be like a mine shaft tower? I actually think, personally, if you were to do something like that, I think it actually works out better if the ride is smaller and not this whole – some people are saying that the 3501 and the 3215, if you subtract those two, you get 286, and that they think that might be the height of the ride. With something that big, it becomes very, very difficult to theme it well just because you have to build so much. If you do something, say, you know, 150, 160 feet or so, you know, I think it becomes easier to do a more heavily themed type ride. I mean, I don't let me look it up here real quick just because I have RCDB up. But if I look at Baron 1898, that height is 98 feet with a drop of 123, and they have a very nicely themed hill there. So if you do something maybe a little bit larger than that, you could probably do quite a good theme that isn't going to be outrageously expensive, although that ride's only 1,600 feet long. So if you're looking at maybe double the length, then you have to go with more height. I don't know where that all plays into it. That also has the standard B&M floorless coaster track with the 6 across cars, which I don't think we're going to see here because it seems like we've seen the wider track already. So the 137 MCBR, maybe that's the height of the mid-course, and maybe you're going to theme the mid-course with something like that. Could you have 2 holding brakes, one on each drop? I don't know. The number 17 would be the 17th coaster, right?
Is it at Canada's Wonderland?
At Canada's Wonderland. Well, I know that if you counted Wonder Mountain's Guardian, that was 17, but then they took out Skyrider. So currently RCDB said, 16 operating. So there you go.
That makes sense there.
So the number 17 would be the 17th roller coaster because they don't have a Larson loop. They don't have a pipe screen that, you know, muddies the waters. They don't have a racing coaster that would, you know, maybe throw that out of whack. So I think that's definitely what the 17 is. As for the other 3, I don't know.
Yeah, they're really strange numbers, and track length seems...
It seems like either one of those could be track length on a larger dive coaster. I mean, if we look at Valraven real quick, length is 34.15, so kind of right in between the two. I don't know what the height of the mid-course brake run is. It looks like it might be about half of that, which would be in the, you know, the 130, you know, 120, 130 mark. So it's plausible for sure.
I just find it real interesting that we see this at Cedar Point first. And we do know that when this went up, people tweeted about it. Some park officials from Canada's Wonderland, you know, commented, "Oh, how did that get there?" And
may I just say, Andy, may I just comment, you know where I'm going with this. May I just comment at the people who were saying how brilliant it was that now they're doing a cross promotion and they think it's the best idea ever. Like, hello, they did it last year and we told you they were doing it last year and now they're doing it again and all of a sudden it's a great idea. Yeah. Hello, we came up with this over a year ago, folks. This isn't anything new if you're paying attention.
Yeah, like now it's just on the nose a little bit more, where if you disregard this, then you're just being silly. But
just because we're the only smart ones to pick up on the subtle clues from last year, they decided to make it a little bit more obvious for you folks that this is what they're doing now.
Here's the baseball bat. Let me bash it over the head so you can understand it.
Here, let me put the ball on the tee this year as opposed to throwing a fast pitch.
Oh, my God. So we're
gonna swing. We're gonna swing.
So it kind of ties into that whole Klondike, stuff we were talking about on the last episode with the
first
trail
poster,
yeah. So with the poster about the trail, and that was for the gold rush, which is a mining operation. So once again, I think that's where all this mining stuff comes together, where we're going to see this northern Canadian, mining operation now, with the theme here. So it should be cool. I'm thinking that at some point, I forgot one last thing. We do have an announcement date for Canada.
Yes, we do.
So they will be announcing something big on 8/15, which is the day before National Roller Coaster Day. And Danny, you said, well, why wouldn't they just announce on National Roller Coaster Day?
Well, it's in Canada, as you pointed out.
And it's in Canada, so they don't have National Roller Coaster Day there. Or, I don't know. Their prime minister's pretty cool, so... maybe
I'm looking on Wikipedia right now for any type. I just Google searched Toronto Gold Rush to see if anything comes up. And the Porcupine Gold Rush was a gold rush that took place in Northern Ontario starting in 1909 and developing fully by 1911. Let's see, what else do they say here? By 2001, 67 million troy ounces of gold have been mined from the Porcupine area, making it by far the largest gold rush in terms of actual gold produced. For comparison, the well-known Klondike Gold Rush produced 12 million troy ounces. So that's wow, that's more than 5 times as much as the Klondike Gold Rush.
And remember, the first poster referenced that Chilkoot Trail, which was the Klondike Gold Rush. So they could just be referencing that because it does.
They could.
Partially in Canada.
The Porcupine Rush, along with the Cobalt Silver Rush and Kirkland Lake Gold Rush, all in the early 20th century, drove most of the settlement effort in Northern Ontario. So, I mean, there is a little bit of something to go off of here. I'm just looking to see if there's anything real specific that piques my interest. I don't really see a whole heck of a lot in terms of names or something that we could use for a possible name. What about... I mean, we talked about it before. What about the possibility of them coming back and using the ledge?
I've never really liked that name.
I haven't either.
But I guess
it's hard to. I guess it's hard to argue if they were ever going to use it. It would be hard. You'd be hard pressed to find a better opportunity.
Yeah, this would be it.
So I don't know. I don't know how I don't particularly like the name, but I guess if they were ever going to plan on using that, I guess this would maybe be the time to. I'm not sure.
Well, we will keep you updated here on Canada's Wonderland and all the goings on up there, up north. But it does seem within the next few weeks here, we're going to be having a big announcement from them on 8/15. So that's exciting that we have the date. It looks to be like this is going to be Cedar Fair's big coaster next year.
It's going to be a big August again, Andy.
Yes, it is. So as always, thanks for joining us here on COASTER.net Update. Right on, Ride Warriors.
See you guys.